Think back to before this Six Nations tournament, we had our eye on this fixture in Dublin, didn't we, between Ireland and Scotland? Potential Grand Slam decider is what we thought it might be. It has not ended up being that, but still lots on the line for Scotland. Well, they can win a Triple Crown, which is a very rare and special thing. And the only team that can still win that, of course. Ireland, they can win the Six Nations Championship. And whilst it isn't back-to-back Grand Slams, back-to-back Six Nations is no small achievement, should not be underestimated, and will be absolutely on the minds of the Irish players, wanting a bit of redemption from last week and also to put on a show on a St. Patrick's Day weekend in Dublin. Should be an absolute cracker. Here are my thoughts on the teams with the selections now being made. I've got a combined 23-man squad as well, so I want your thoughts in the comments down below about what you make of this. And if you would take a moment to just help me on the channel, smash that like button. It helps me reach other rugby fans that don't even know I exist, because it's just me. I'm Tim. This is Egg Chasers. I love my rugby, especially Super Saturday. And the Ireland team that Andy Farrell has named shows no changes from the starting 15. Some people may be surprised about that. Andy Farrell, I think redemption's the word I've already used, and I think that's the opportunity that Andy Farrell is giving his starting 15. Showing faith in them, giving them the opportunity to go out and prove that last week was a blip, and actually as part of the bigger journey that they're on, he talks about that a lot, they know where they're going and they're going to put things right. There are some changes on the bench, however. Firstly, good to see Calvin Nash came through his HIA protocol. I believe Kieran Frawley would have been available as well after his HIA issue in the game last weekend, but he has not been selected. Gary Ringrose back, a part of that, which is great to see, but the bigger part of that is the fact that Andy Farrell has opted for a 5-3 split on the bench, which does look more balanced, with Harry Byrne coming in, Ian Henderson, as well as Kieran Frawley, another man that misses out, meaning there is no Ulsterman in the 23, which is a shame. And Ian Henderson, I'll come on to the starting 15 in a minute, may feel slightly hard done by there. I'd love to know what you think about that. But this is why we saw last weekend with the 6-2 split. It feels better and they're more able to cope with anything with the 5-3 split. It is a trade-off, isn't it? This is why when Matt Williams, isn't it, the guy at Virgin Media on the telly in Ireland, the pundit, when he was complaining and saying it shouldn't be allowed that South Africa had a 7-1 split, I mean, last weekend just shows that's nonsense, because it's a trade-off and it's a risk. And in the case of last weekend with Calvin Nash and Kieran Frawley going off with HIAs, the risk backfired for Ireland, and it cost them, because, you know, by far and away their best scrum half was stuck out on the wing for a chunk of the game. And you wonder what might have been if they'd had Harry Byrne, Gary Ringrose and Conor Murray on the bench. That said, Conor Murray, is he one of the guys that's a bit lucky to keep his spot? I think people are saying that about Conor Murray, about Peter O'Mahony, but others as well. I was talking about this on the England-France build-up video I did a little while ago, and I do think there's an element of, and I think this is definitely the case with George Ford and Elliot Daly for England, I think it may be the case a little bit with Conor Murray and Peter O'Mahony. People maybe judge slightly older players a little more harshly than younger players. And here, I'll draw you a distinction. There have been many, many more people saying that Conor Murray and Peter O'Mahony should be dropped than have been saying Joe McCarthy should be dropped. If you were Ian Henderson, you may be thinking, well, I should be playing because Joe McCarthy was anonymous against England last weekend. Now, he's had a fantastic Six Nations so far, and I think he's got bags of potential. But Joe McCarthy, 4 carries, 3 metres, is all he chalked up against England. He's there to be a bruiser and to ball carry, and he did not deliver last week. So I would take this more broadly across the team, that Andy Farrell is giving his players a chance to show what they're really made of and put in a performance that they know they are capable of, and put any wrongs of last week right, and that includes Peter O'Mahony and Conor Murray. You know how much I love the war god, Peter O'Mahony. The one thing I was thinking was potentially, and I know they're not talking about it in these terms, but potentially, could this end up being Peter O'Mahony, Conor Murray and Cian Healy's final Six Nations game? That may end up being the case. We will wait and see, but I wonder if that sentimentality has played any role in this. I think it's probably more broadly that Andy Farrell he never gets carried away when Ireland win, and he never gets overly concerned when Ireland lose, because he believes in the process and the vision, and he believes that the same guys will go and put it right next week. And I kind of love Andy Farrell for that a little bit. Whether you agree or disagree with the selection, I kind of love that. Moving over to Scotland, and they show some changes. Stafford McDowell What a great name, by the way. They've got some fantastic names in this Scotland team, haven't they? Blair Kinghorn, Stafford McDowell. Absolutely, I love it. I wonder if Stafford McDowell is called Stafford McDowell because he was conceived in Stafford. Is that the case? If that is true, it would be maybe the most interesting thing about the town of Stafford, which is pretty unremarkable for the most part. But he's known as Stiffy. Nice. He's the Glasgow captain. I think he's got one cap to his name. Big, strong boy, and I think that's why he's been selected. Cam Redpath wasn't great last weekend. He's been really good this season generally. Wasn't brilliant, but I think if it was any other team, Gregor Townsend may have done what Andy Farrell did and give Cam Redpath another shot, but the threat of Bundy Aki and the power in that Irish pack, and I think he's picked Stafford McDowell to take on that physical challenge. He's a big boy, over 100 kgs. Yeah, I quite like that selection. He's not just a big bruiser as well. He's got some skills, the Stafford McDowell. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him get a shot. And other than that, Ben White is back at 9. He was rested last weekend, so Horn to the bench and Price out of the 23. And just like Ireland, Scotland have opted for a 5-3 split. Jamie Ritchie, just like Ian Henderson, will feel like he's been hard done by there because Jamie Ritchie was good when he came on last week, I felt. There are other players that maybe didn't show the best of themselves. Cam Redpath and Kyle Rowe, both on the bench alongside George Horn. Nice to see Rory Sutherland getting another shot on the bench as well. He sort of seems to be in out all the time. He's in again. The big challenge for Scotland, I think it's less about personnel for them and it's more about the top 2 inches. It's mentality, isn't it? Will they stop playing this weekend? Can they just keep the foot on the throttle? We saw them just stop playing after 40 minutes against Wales, almost lose. Stop playing when they were ahead and could have killed France off. And same goes, they were ahead against Italy and just kind of stopped. And you can only feel, happened a little bit against England as well, although in reverse, weirdly, they started quiet and then ended strong. But you just kind of feel that that's a mentality thing, isn't it? And does that come from Gregor Townsend? Does that come from the leadership on the field? I mean, they've got enough co-captains and vice-captains, haven't they? I mean, can I just applaud Ireland, by the way? Can I just go back and applaud? Thank you, Ireland, for just having a captain and leaving it at that. Not England with their 3 vice-captains, Scotland with their 2 co-captains. It's getting a bit ridiculous, isn't it? But anyway, is leadership the issue? Is it, I don't know, just lack of experience in those occasions and coming through them, that there isn't the confidence there? I don't know what the answer is. I just know that Scotland are going to need to mentally deliver this weekend. Can they? It's going to be a really, really tough ask. I think the odds are against, and that just comes into stark relief when you have a look at the combined 23-man squad that I've got. So if I was just pitching shirt 1 against shirt 1, 2 against 2, and down through the 23, this is what my combined side looks like. Only 2 Scots in the starting 15, 2 on the bench. That tells a story. I mean, there are some positions where it's a bit of a toss-up. Tadhg Furlong's not been playing well, and Xander Fagerson has been playing well, so that was a little bit of a toss-up. I think Joe McCarthy didn't play well last week, and Grant Gilchrist has been playing really well, so that made it more of a toss-up. Rory Darge, could I have put him in for Peter O'Mahony? Possibly, but then you don't really have a 6 on the field. And in the back line, Hugh Jones, close with Robbie Henshaw, but there we go. I think that tells a picture that across the park, except for a couple of absolute difference-making players like Finn Russell and Duhan van der Merwe, Ireland have an edge. No question. They're at home. There's a lot on the line. If Ireland turn up and play, they win. They win. And what was it Sam Warburton said about England v Ireland last weekend? He said if that game, before the match this is, he said if that game happened 10 times, Ireland win 9. I'm not sure I would go along with 9 out of 10. Maybe 7. Ireland would win 7 out of 10 against England. I think with this one, yeah, if you play this game 10 times, Ireland probably win 8. 8, I would say. So Scotland have to be absolutely at their best, if not slightly above their best, and Ireland have to have a dip in order for this not to go the way of the home team. That's the way I see it. For which reason I'm going to suggest Ireland by 10. I hope it's a really entertaining game, and I hope Scotland deliver an 80-minute performance. I hope Ireland bounce back. I hope the crowd enjoy it. I hope Super Saturday is awesome, and I hope you will hit like on the video, subscribe on the channel, and leave your comments down below. I'll see you on the next one.